Welcome to the Judges Training Session for the District 12 Science Day, hosted by Ohio University. During this presentation, we will discuss important information that you will need to know for the day of the fair. This material is supplemental and intended to enhance your knowledge of the Science Day standards, rules, and judging ethics. Here you can see the judging schedule for the day of the fair. Team assignment will take place from 8:30 to 9 a.m. in the West Lobby of Heritage Hall. Please find your lead judge when you arrive. If you have not yet been assigned a category, please see Natalie Cruz upon your arrival. First round judging will take place from 9 to 10:30 a.m. in the Heritage Hall atrium, followed by second round judging in the same place from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. You will need to ask your lead judge if you should stay for the second round of judging. Then, please feel free to join us at the awards ceremony on Tuesday, March 22nd at 6 p.m. via Zoom. Each category for the science fair will have a lead judge that will be handing out scorecards and assigning teams. You should contact your lead judge if you have any questions or concerns during the day of the fair. The lead judge in each category will assign teams of 2, and scorecards will be handed out during team assignment in the West Lobby. For lead judges, please attempt to put non-native English speakers with English speakers and science fair veterans with new judges. All projects will be displayed in the Heritage Hall atrium. Project numbers will correspond to the area of the atrium that they are in. The large room off of the West Lobby is open for judges' belongings, and judges may consult in the small conference rooms off of the atrium on floors 1 and 2. When judging high school student projects specifically, think about if the project should be considered for the International Science Fair while doing your evaluation. Here are some judging ethics that you will be expected to follow on the day of the fair. Remember to be engaged and listen carefully to each presenter. Ask questions of the student that are appropriate for their age and grade level. Several students competing in the fair have special needs, so please see your scorecards and talk to your lead judge if you have any questions or concerns. Discuss a project's final score only with your judging partner, and be sure to be away from the participant and other students or parents. Do not judge a project if you have a personal relationship with the student, you feel the project is out of your expertise, or if you find there are language or communication barriers between you and the student. By following these guidelines, we can ensure the fair judging of all student projects. On this slide is a sample scorecard for individual projects. Team scorecards look similar to individual scorecards, with an added box for scoring on teamwork. Each project is judged on the following sections: oral, written, and visual communication, originality, experimental design, and depth of understanding. On the scorecards for engineering projects, experimental design is replaced by engineering design. Team scorecards have an added criteria for judging on teamwork. Each criteria within the sections has boxes where you indicate whether a student was superior, excellent, or good in each criteria by assigning a number of points. The total for each section should add up to 10 points, for a total of 40 possible points for each individual project. For team projects, their score will add up to 50 points to account for the extra section of teamwork. Each section, with the exception of Section 1, have suggested maximum points to award. For Section 1, judges are encouraged to distribute the weighting of the 10 points based on student ability. Each scorecard will have a section on the back for comments that you will need to complete. Please use this space for constructive feedback and positive comments. Before filling out the scorecard, triple check that the student name and project you are judging match the scorecard. When filling out the scorecards, please make sure to fill them out completely and without consulting your partner. Each score should be entered individually, and only integer numbers should be entered in the applicable box. If, when the scores are totaled, the overall scores do not fall within the same nominal score category, we will send out a second judging team to judge the project. You are encouraged to come to an agreement with your judging partner on the overall score category whenever possible. Make sure that your scorecard is signed at the bottom and you have entered comments on the back before turning it in to fair headquarters off of the West Lobby. If you would like to see a sample scorecard before judging, ask your lead judge. These are the criteria by which you will judge each project. They include knowledge achieved, effective use of scientific method and technological design, use of engineering design for engineering projects only, clarity of expression, originality and creativity, and teamwork for team projects only. When judging the knowledge achieved by the presenter, remember to keep the student's age and grade level in mind. Did the student reach the depth of knowledge required to complete their project? Look at the types of sources they included in their literature review. Were there academic journal articles included, or just popular literature citations? The student should be able to answer your questions clearly with additional information. Also, consider if the student followed project guidelines, which we will discuss later in this presentation. When judging the effective use of scientific method and technological design criteria, look at the experimental design of the project. Is there a specific problem or question with a hypothesis or technological design statement? The methods need to be well understood from related studies and clearly explained with correct variables and controls. Data should be displayed in tables or graphs with enough trials to answer the problem or question. There should be valid conclusions or a discussion of the results. Also, look at the effective use of equipment, experimental materials, and models. For engineering projects that are using a design approach rather than a scientific method approach, the previous criteria will be replaced with the use of engineering design. Consider the student's engineering design. Does it define a certain problem or need? Background information should be gathered and analyzed with criteria for success established. There should be preliminary designs and a prototype or model created and tested. The results of those tests should be analyzed and clear. The testing of the prototype or model should be sufficient and the criteria for success met. You should judge the effective use of materials and decide if the student applied scientific principles. Judging teams for engineering projects may decide if the project fits into the engineering design or scientific method category. Teams of judges will be provided with additional judging sheets if the initial classification is incorrect. When judging the clarity of expression criteria, consider the student's oral presentation, written report, and visual display. During the oral presentation, the student should be able to explain the project and written ideas in the abstract and report, as well as demonstrate their understanding of the project and results. Look for proper use of titles and headings, along with correct spelling and grammar. Pay attention to if they rely heavily on note cards or if much of their presentation is done from memory. The written report should be well organized with a title, results, citations, and references, with a clear statement of results in the abstract. The visual display should be neat and organized with the hypothesis or design statement, results, and conclusions. Finally, the student should be able to answer your questions clearly and correctly. The final criteria for individual projects is originality and creativity. Is the idea or hypothesis new? Perhaps they are using a unique approach to answer the question. Does the project have a unique connection to previous work or knowledge? The project should be inquiry or design-based, with a unique approach and creative use of materials. The student should also show initiative in the analysis of the data or results. For all team projects, there will be one extra criteria to judge on teamwork. The scores will be weighted differently between teams and individuals to account for the extra points. Each team will have a team leader that may take the lead during the presentation, but all team members should be able to contribute to the presentation. All members should also have contributed to the project, so you should ask each team member to give you a short description of their major project contributions. The expectation of team projects is that each member had a role, and that the project was either too large for one student to complete, or required students with different skills to conduct a multidisciplinary approach. The student displays should be used to present their research and not to demonstrate their experiment. Their posters should display their abstract, graphs, data tables, diagrams, charts or photographs, the project's background information, their experimental design, and their results and conclusions. Computers may be used, but only to display or demonstrate results. They are not to be used for PowerPoint presentations. The student's oral presentation is an important element when determining their score. Their presentations should be about 5 to 10 minutes long. The student should define the problem or hypothesis, summarize their research and experiment, explain diagrams or charts, share their results, and identify conclusions. Here is a table showing the narrative scores for both teams and individuals with their corresponding point values. As you can see, the scores are weighted differently between teams and individuals to account for the extra teamwork criteria. Although your individual judging scores may differ from your judging partner, you should generally be able to agree upon a narrative score. If your scores are significantly different to where you cannot agree on a narrative score, please inform your lead judge so that we can send a second judging team to judge the project. The final score will be an average of the two judges' scores. Please remember that we would like to encourage these students to be involved and excited by science. We would like to avoid giving very low scores and encourage judges to give constructive and positive feedback to the students. We are developing future scientists. The second round of judging, from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., is for special awards judging. Projects awarded a superior in the first round of judging will be eligible for special awards. Please return your first round judging scorecards to Fair Headquarters off of the West Lobby in a timely manner so that we can calculate scores and hand out participation certificates to those students that will not be eligible for special awards. Lead judges will be asked to stay for special awards in the second round, and we ask all other judges willing to stay and volunteer their time to help as well. Please ask your lead judge before leaving for the day if you are needed for second round judging. Scorecards from the second round of judging will also need to be returned to Fair Headquarters off of the West Lobby so winners can be determined before the award ceremony. Remember to check that the student name and project match the scorecard before judging, and when judging projects, always keep the student's age and grade in mind. Before returning your scorecard, make sure to put constructive comments on the back of the scorecard and sign at the bottom. Return your scorecards to Fair Headquarters off of the West Lobby in a timely manner so that we can calculate scores and hand out awards. Try to determine if the student did their own work with little help from adults. Many students put a great deal of effort and time into these projects, so it is important to consider if there was too much work done by someone else. Please ask your lead judge before leaving for the day, and consider volunteering for the second round of judging for special awards and attending the award ceremony. Finally, remember to have fun and be engaged in each student's project. We want students to be encouraged to pursue their interests in science and engineering, and you can help by giving them constructive feedback and taking interest in their projects. We want to thank you for volunteering your time. If you have any questions or concerns prior to the day of the fair, please contact Natalie Cruz at cruzin@ohio.edu. For questions during the day of the fair, please contact your head judge or Natalie Cruz at 740-707-9661.